Hi, I am Dr. Kim Sage. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. Welcome to one little daily dose of loved energy to hopefully help you just look at parts of your story and your life and relationships and think about one thing you can do to start to shift if you would like to. Today is a really important topic to me, which I think is the idea that what is one thing about yourself that you know is imperfect and it's never going to be perfect. But instead of fighting it and hating that part of yourself, how can you just start to work on embracing it? And what is it? For so many of us, the focus on perfection was a survival technique for childhood. That internalization of the inner critic and the outer critic, criticizing myself and everyone else in attempts to manage and survive traumatic relational environments or parenting, whatever it was. This need to be like perfect and then to only be loved when we're perfect, I think is so pervasive in our culture, and it is so hard for all of us. If I was just 10 pounds less, if I was 10 years younger, if I had that car, if I had lived that life, if I had those parents. And I mean, I think all of us have a decent list for many things we'd like to change. But the truth is that we cannot. We cannot change and we cannot go back. And some things are just going to be what they are. I think for me, I spent a lot of years in shame about my childhood and, wanting to present as like I have it together. And I do, but I also have the places where I don't, right? I struggle just like you do. And I wanted to have a perfect childhood, and I wanted my children to have a perfect childhood. And coming to terms with the fact that that is not what I had, and it is not what they've had, largely due to my own childhood, has been a really difficult journey. Especially as I've talked about, for many of us, this fantasy of like our adult life, that was going to heal our childhood, right? I'm going to have this perfect life, and then it's going to be the perfect mommy, and the perfect house, and the perfect car, and the perfect schools, the perfect kids. And I mean, that's a child's fantasy. There's no such thing. And if you got most of those things, great. But even if you do, they don't just magically heal. They do help heal a lot of things. Living a healthier, being a different, healthier life, being a different parent, all of that can really do a lot towards internally healing. But it does not erase the truth of your story. And so part of it is saying like, yeah, my kids did not have a perfect childhood. And when I'm up here talking about all these difficult situations, sometimes my kids had those experiences too. Not in the same ones I've had, but in different ways. And I would love to take that back and have that not be the truth, but it is the truth. And so I have to learn to embrace that I've done the best I could. I'm still trying to do the best I can, but I am not perfect. And guess what? Neither are they. And all of us who know this at some point in life know that they think the same thing right now. They're all going to do it differently and better, and in many ways they might. But they are not going to do it perfectly either. They're not. And that's okay. So what is one thing today that you would like to say, you know what? I just need to accept that this will never be perfect about my body, my relationships, my story, my job, my childhood, my marriage, whatever. But I can, with love and compassion and grace, say, I did the best I could, or I couldn't control it. It just is what it is. But I'm going to stop letting it dictate and control and be the lens through which I see everything else in my life. Because it is just, as I talk about, it's one slice of the pizza of your life. It's one piece of your life. It's not the whole thing. But oftentimes we think it is the whole thing. And then that affects everything else we do in our lives. So, what is one thing today you can say, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. And that's okay. Feel free to share down below in the comments. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.